Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Jana. I am so excited that you guys are joining me for today's video, so thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I have a bit of a doozy video for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure that you are subscribed. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you stay updated every time I upload a new video. And please like and share this video and comment down below after the video is done. Come and connect with me there. And if you don't already follow me on IG, please make sure that you head on over there and follow me there so that we can also be friends on Instagram. So for today's video, I've got my toque. In Canada, yes, we call them toques. In the States, I believe you call them beanies, but in Canada, it's a toque. And I've got my favorite comfy blanket. This is like, I swear I was a cat in a past life. I absolutely love these fuzzy blankets, and this one is my favorite one. This is the one that makes me feel calm. It helps with my anxiety. So I've got it on because I've had one of those days where I just felt out of sorts. And I've got a hot cup of marshmallow hot chocolate protein powder. This is by Perfect Sports Diesel, and I have a little bit of the peppermint mocha almond milk in here. So good, especially if you get a sweet tooth in the evening like I do. This is an amazing combination. Sorry, USA friends, it's a Canadian only supplement company, but if you comment down below, I can send you some links to some Canadian supplement stores that do ship it out. So you do want to get your hands on this because when you heat it up and it gets warm, it actually froths like hot chocolate does. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it, but they do. No, I'm not sponsored or affiliated with Perfect Sports in any single way. I just really love their product, and this tastes amazing. So I always share what I love, and I'm honest here on my channel, and I really wanted to share that with you guys. So getting into today's video, go ahead, grab yourself some pajamas, something comfy, go get your toque if you want to join this Canadian, and get yourself something nice and warm to drink, because we're going to dive right into today's topic, which is seasonal depression and emotional binge eating. Something that you guys may not know about me that I try to share openly and often as possible, but not too often, because then it just becomes annoying and all that sorts of stuff. But anyways, what I try to share is I actually suffer with high functioning anxiety, as well as what they call seasonal affective disorder, which means seasonal depression. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know my origin story. So you know that I used to be over 310 pounds. I had a food addiction and binge eating disorder since I was the age of 5 to deal with childhood trauma. So I tend to really lean towards food as emotional comfort and as a coping mechanism for when I am struggling with my depression or my anxiety. And today was definitely one of those days. And I actually had a different video planned for you guys today, but I really wanted to switch it around and change it up so that we could talk about this, because I know I'm not the only person who struggles with it. And I know that sometimes it's really hard to admit that we struggle with something. Sometimes it's really nice to hear someone else say that they struggle with the same thing that you do. So I am putting it out there to let people know that depression is something that I've always struggled with, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. And over the years, I've definitely come up with ways of dealing with my depression, or at least making it through my depressive episodes. But I noticed lately that when the seasons change, it seems to get really bad, and every year it seems to get worse. And what my normal coping mechanisms that I use, like going to the gym, reading, writing, journaling, meditating, listening to music, getting out of the house, just don't seem to be working. And when I am feeling quite depressed when I'm feeling anxious, I also have social anxiety as well. I tend to go towards food because it's a way that I taught myself to feel better, to escape, to stop thinking, to stop feeling, to just to shut off. And it is very much comparable to a drug addict. It is very much comparable to an alcoholic, especially when I was using food uncontrollably. Like, I would just, any thought or feeling that wasn't positive, I would just go and dive right into food, and I would hit up fast food places. I would go and get 12 packs of donuts and eat them all. I would get cookies and eat the whole package. Like, it was out of control. It was uncontrollable. And I was really sliding down a very slippery slope before I learned to deal with it in a more positive way. And when I learned to overcome my binging urges and recognizing my binging triggers. So lately, with it turning into fall, I've been really struggling a lot. And it's getting to the point where I am feeling unmotivated to get out of bed in the morning. I am feeling unmotivated to do any work, to go to the gym, to stick to my reverse diet plan. I'm feeling unmotivated to spend any time with my family, and that is something else that I had learned as a way to cope. Is I would become very introverted, so I would just stop talking to people. I would cancel plans with friends. I wouldn't text people back, and I've even noticed that I really don't feel like I want to post on social media. It's tough because there's a part of you that really just kind of wants to give up, and there's a part of you that doesn't. And when I have these urges to binge, it's like I'm so mentally exhausted from fighting the urges to binge that you just want to binge to get it over with, because you know that if you do, then you can stop thinking about it, then you can move past it. But nothing ever good comes from it. You never feel better. It always makes you feel worse, and it puts your body into a pretty bad place when you do that. Like, metabolically, it's hard to get back on track after you have allowed yourself to binge, because one binge will turn into 2 binges, and then every day you're binging, or it's just harder to get yourself back to that place that you worked so hard for. Learning to identify your triggers and overcoming your urges, and it's so hard to get back to that place after you start allowing yourself to slide. And it's no different than when a drug addict starts using again after being clean for so long. And with binging, I was a food addict, so it's like once I would get a taste of something sweet or sugary, it was like game over. It was like this overwhelming need to eat something else, to have another piece of chocolate, to go out and buy tubs of ice cream and eat it. It was seriously uncontrollable, to the point where I'm sweating thinking about it. I'm twitching, that's all I can think about. And near the end of one of my last really bad time frames with binge eating, which was when I had postpartum depression after having my son, I was at the point where I was hiding food. I was going grocery shopping, and I would make sure that I would get home earlier than everybody else so that I could hide my stash. I would leave in the middle of the night when my baby was sleeping and my husband was sleeping, and I would go to the convenience store and I would buy a bunch of food and I would eat it and then go home, and then I would take some of it back and stash it. So I had a really bad problem, and I would spend hundreds of dollars a month on fast food, junk food, and eating out. and a lot of it I kept from my husband because I was so embarrassed. And we were going literally broke trying to feed my binge eating habit, especially after my son was born, because I would go and spend our grocery money on junk food, and then we would have to borrow money to go get groceries from our parents because I had spent it all, because that's how bad my addiction was. And when you think of food, you don't really think of it as an addiction. You look at it like you just have unhealthy eating habits, or you just don't know how to eat healthy, or you will try to justify it. Like, it's really hard for you to go, oh wow, I'm actually addicted to food, because it's food, and you need food to survive. So it's just really difficult to see it as an addiction because we need it for survival. Drugs you don't need for survival. Alcohol, cigarettes, sex, even, you don't need those things for survival, but you need food to survive. So it's really hard to step outside of that view and go, oh wow, like I'm actually addicted to food. And my addiction is sugar addiction. And I attached sugar to feeling good because of my experiences as a child. I was bribed with candy. So it was me attaching like this horrible situation is happening and I feel horrible, but it's okay because, this candy is going to make it worth it. It's going to make it feel better. It's going to allow you to escape to somewhere else because you focus on the taste and the texture and how it feels in your mouth. Like, food addiction and binge eating is one of, if not the hardest thing to heal from. I don't like using the term overcome. I like using heal, because once you are addicted to something, you will always be addicted to something. And especially if it's a habit or a certain mannerism, not even a mannerism, just something that you did for a really long time, it becomes a habit and it becomes a part of who you are. So even though I don't give in to binges, up until the one that I had recently. So which was a small one, which I talked about on my Insta stories, about just how my seasonal depression really hit me when I came back from California. And I've learned ways to overcome my urges, to identify my triggers, to distract myself from my urges, and they've really helped over the years. I'm a visual person, so I have sticky notes all over my house reminding me still to this day on a daily basis, because I'm only 4.5 years into my journey, guys. And I had been binging and emotionally eating since I was 5. So that's basically 26 years. I'm 32 now, so I think the math is right, that I had this habit. So in order for me to change it, it's not going to be healed. It's not going to be fully corrected in only 4.5 years. It's something that I work on every single day. So at this time of year, I have to really be a little extra gentle with myself, and if I need a mental health day, I will take a mental health day, but I have systems set up in place to help me through these times so that I'm just not binging every single time I get emotional. Some of those things are reaching out to my coach and letting him know that I'm struggling. It's letting my husband know that I'm struggling. It's not becoming introverted and shutting people out. It's actually reaching out for help and saying, hey, I am struggling with this, and if you notice me starting to do this or that, please just ask if I'm okay. Because I know for me naturally, I don't want anybody to know that I'm struggling or I'm having a hard time. It's an independent thing. I don't want people to know that I'm struggling, because to me, growing up, I always had to put a brave face on because of everything that I was dealing with internally. I didn't want people to know that I was weak. And so it was also learning that this doesn't make you weak. This is just something that you're going through, and that we need these seasons. We need these experiences to help us grow stronger. So I learn something every single time I go through one of these episodes. And these episodes can last a day, They can last a week, sometimes months, and some days are worse than others. Some days I feel totally fine and I'm happy and I'm normal, and the next day, for example, like yesterday, I was feeling amazing. I had so much fun with a friend, and I woke up this morning and it was like I just kind of felt empty. I was unmotivated to get up and go to the gym. I didn't want to stick to any of my food today. I was craving all sorts of sweet things, so I had to be like on top of myself mentally, reminding myself of what my goals are. I had to reach out to my coach. I talked to people today, like people are asking, how are you? And I would answer them honestly, and I would say, you know what, I'm struggling right now, but I'm okay. Like I'm just going through some seasonal depression stuff. And people would often either say, yeah, me too, I struggle with that, or they would offer a word of support. So I find that it's really important that we do tell people that we are struggling with something, and it took me a long time to get over the fear of, people judging me for that. You'll find that people are far more supportive than we give them credit for. And my coach reminded me to do some journaling, which I did, and I just started to make myself feel better in different ways. And that is really what your body and your brain is looking for, is it's looking to feel better, and it's looking for that positive reinforcement and those happy emotions and those positive happy endorphins. So I have to give that to myself in ways that isn't food. So I've got my fuzzy blanket, I've got something that is sweet, that is delicious, but is also in my macros, so I don't feel guilty for this at all. And I've got my support system from my coach and from my family and from my friends. And I was listening to some music, I was listening to some podcasts that were making me feel a lot better. And you know what, even though I didn't feel like it, I threw on some music and I just started dancing randomly, and it definitely changed my mood a little bit. I don't know what tomorrow is gonna be like, but that's okay because I've managed to bring myself out of it today. So I'll take it, sometimes a minute by a minute if I have to. But I know that I'm not alone in feeling this. I know that I'm not the only person who struggles with these things, and that I hope that if you struggle with it too, whether it's chronic depression, anxiety, seasonal affective disorder, or any of those types of things, I hope that you reach out and you ask for help, because that's also showing strength, is when you can actually, let people know that you need support. So I know it's really hard because often a lot of you guys who follow me are moms, a lot of you guys who follow me are entrepreneurs, and we have a lot of people that depend on us all the time. So it's really hard to be the one to reach out and just say, you know what, I'm kind of not okay, can I have some support? So I really just wanted to touch base with you guys about that, because there's too many people online and there's too many people out there that are trying to portray this perfect life and everything is great and everything is grand, but that's not that way for everybody. And sometimes when we don't see people talking about it, we feel like we're the only people who struggle with it, and that can make us feel very alone and very isolated. So if you guys ever need an ear, if you guys need someone to talk to, I'm always here to chat with you guys. And this is also part of what I do for my clients. I really hope that if you guys need any kind of support, just know that I'm here for you, whether that's in the comments in my community, in the DMs of my Instagram, or even on my private Facebook page for women. I'll link that below so you guys can find it. But either way, you've got support, people care about you, people love you, and you're gonna make it through it because you are strong AF. Alright guys, so that was all I wanted to touch base with you guys on today. If you guys would like me to talk more about my experiences with depression and mental health, or if you guys would like to hear more about my story, please let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you guys struggle with seasonal depression or seasonal affective disorder as well. And if you do need a word of support, please ask in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. If you guys have suggestions on future videos, I'm open to feedback. But again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for your love and support online. I appreciate all of you. You guys mean so much to me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.